Welcome to Athlete Arch. In this video, let's take a look at the top 5 international sports that are being played right now. Some of these you might be familiar with, but others might seem new to you. Either way, we're sure you're going to enjoy watching them. Today we're going to take a look at the top 5 international sports that are gaining popularity all over the world. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 1. Soccer. Football is the most famous sport in the world, and for good reason. It may not be as prominent in America, but pretty much every other country loves it. All around the world, everyone from kids to adults plays some version of this classic ball game. It's also known by a few different names depending on where you are. For example, in America, it's called soccer. The game is exactly how it sounds. 2 teams of 11 players fight to get the ball into the other team's goalpost. It seems simple, but there are literally hundreds of moves and strategies you can use to win. One strategy that many people don't know about is playing badly, or if you're on the competitive side, sandbagging. The aim of sandbagging is to make your teammates think that you're a weak link and not worth passing the ball to. This can cause them to play badly and lose, while you seem like a god amongst men while taking all of their glory. But remember, it's only a game, so don't take it too far. Basketball. This is another very popular sport that Americans are mostly oblivious to. Basketball originated in 1891 when James Naismith decided he wanted some exercise and nailed 2 pitch baskets up to poles. He then threw a soccer ball into one of them and started to pass it. Passing the ball around is still a very important part of playing basketball today, but there are some big differences. For one thing, you're not allowed to use your legs, which means that dribbling is an essential skill for any player. Another difference is that the goalpost isn't solid. Instead of having one goalpost at either end of the court, there are 3 hoops at either end. The middle one is worth 3 points, while the other 2 are worth only a measly 2 each. Number 3. Rugby. This sport sounds very familiar to football because it kinda is. In 1865 in England, a man called William Webb Ellis picked up a soccer ball and ran with it. No one really knows why he did this, but we can assume it was because of the rules at the time. The sport caught on and split off into 2 main forms, Rugby League and Rugby Union. These sports are almost identical to each other, but with a few small differences, such as where they get their players from. League has no restrictions on where players can be from, while Union has strict rules about that, and also who you get judged by. League uses a video referee, while Union only uses the main referee. Tennis. This is another very popular sport, but it's not one we often think of as an international game. We normally imagine it being played in America or even just in England, but it's actually a very popular sport around the world. Tennis is often thought of as a relaxing game, something you do with friends on a sunny Sunday afternoon, but it can also be taken very seriously and can become a battle of wills and skills. If you're not feeling up to that level, then there are also many different variations you can try. The most popular of this is beach tennis, and it's played with a slightly smaller and softer ball and with lighter rackets. Cricket. This is by far the most complex sport on this list, but it's also one of the biggest. It has 2 very different forms that are both incredibly popular. First, there's traditional cricket, which is played with a bat and ball on a grass pitch. Then, there's 20 cricket, where you only get 20 overs to score as many runs as possible. This sport has it all. Expensive rules, incredible amounts of strategy, and taunting your opponents by singing songs about them are encouraged. Even if you don't watch this game, it's probably because you've heard one too many stories like that. Swimming. We all know what swimming is, but did you know that there's sports based around it? Swimming might not seem like the most exciting sport to play, but it has many different forms and can get incredibly fierce. The most popular form of swimming is probably freestyle. This is where you can swim as fast as you can. Another less known form of swimming is synchronized swimming. This is where two or more swimmers get in a line and perform moves together to music while looking damn good at the same time. It takes practice, but it's worth it when you can move around in water like that. Field hockey. Field hockey is a sport we often don't think of as an international game, but it actually has more participants than most. This is probably because so many teams for this sport come from Europe and Asia, where hockey isn't just the name of a popular team sport but also a way of life. This exciting game can get intensely competitive and usually involves shouting at your teammates to get them into positions you want them in. There are many different positions on the field, and some are more physically demanding than others, but all are needed for the team to succeed. This sport is also notable for having two forms of it that are played on completely opposite sides of the globe, with almost no overlap between the two: field hockey and ice hockey. Volleyball. This is another sport that's often thought of as just a casual game you play on the beach, or by accident when trying to set up a badminton net. It can get extremely competitive and has several different forms played around the world. One such form is beach volleyball. This is played on a sand court and with a slightly smaller ball, and there are usually only 2 players per team instead of 6 like in indoor volleyball. Another form of the game is indoor volleyball, which is often thought of as the original one. It's similar to outdoor volleyball, except it's played indoors and with 6 players per team. Just like with other sports on this list, there are also different positions on each team, and you need all of them to succeed. Golf. Many people think of golf as a casual pastime you can do with friends. But there's also a professional version that takes place in the Ryder Cup across several different countries in Europe. This long and challenging course is filled with obstacles, water hazards, and sand traps to catch a ball if it goes off the road. It's definitely not easy and needs a lot of practice, but that's what most professional golfers say. The final and biggest challenge comes in the form of the other team. Trying to stop all your good shots before they even happen is no easy feat. Table tennis. Table tennis gets a very limited amount of attention in mainstream media despite being such a simple and fun game. All you need is a table and 2 bats, but on the professional level, it takes years of practice to even start to get good at it. This sport is played at an incredibly high pace and with great agility, as both players try to anticipate each other's moves and place their ball precisely on the right spot on the table. This is a sport where you can lose to someone who has never played before and win against an experienced player because it takes such precision and years of practice to get everything right. Some of the most popular sports in this world are really just a fun way to pass time and play with your friends. But others can get extremely competitive and take years of practice before you even begin to master them, like table tennis for example. This video features games from all kinds of countries, including our own, and shows that no matter where you're from, there's a sport to suit your interest. If you learned something new from this video, subscribe to this channel right now. Make sure to click on the like button too. What are your favorite sports and why? Leave a comment down below to share your preference with us.